All right, how is everybody doing today? I'm Sebastian, and I lead product for Foundry Observability. Looking forward to talking to you about all things Foundry Observability today. We all know that agents are non-deterministic, creating reliability and consistency challenges for developers and operators. This is why reliable AI agent development needs observability to elevate performance, quality, and safety, monitor, debug, and remediate issues, and optimize agent performance. From that perspective, we're excited to announce in public preview observability in Foundry Control Plane, which provides visibility, monitoring, and optimization across the full AI agent lifecycle. It starts with building reliable agents early with out-of-the-box evaluations, tracing for debugging in the agent playground. As you transition to code, you then incorporate these capabilities into your CI/CD workflows. And finally, as you get to production, you get fleet-wide visibility and control. Now, let's get into a high-level overview of our announcements so you can see what's coming before we start with demos. First, we're excited to pre-announce that our evaluation platform will be generally available shortly after Ignite for models and data sets. We are also introducing several new observability capabilities for agents, including tracing, new evaluation capabilities, production monitoring with alerts, and new features that power optimization, and finally, new agentic safety risks in our AI red teaming agents. Now, let's dive a little deeper into some of our key announcements, starting with tracing. Tracing for multi-agent systems is now in public preview with enhanced OTel semantics that power observability for any agent hosted anywhere for many of the most popular agent frameworks. As part of our commitment to open standards to enable seamless interoperability with the Microsoft Foundry, we actively partner with the OTel community to continue to evolve the OTel standard to enable continuous monitoring, tracing, and debugging to keep up with industry advancements. Next, let's highlight some of our key announcements for our evaluation platform. As mentioned earlier, evaluations for models and data sets will be generally available shortly after Ignite. This includes all evaluators currently in public preview. We're also announcing public preview of evals for agents, including new risk and safety evaluators, agent-specific evaluators for tools and multi-agent systems. And underpinning all of these capabilities are flexible LLM as a judge and code-based custom evaluators, which you can use to create and run context-specific evaluations for your agents. Now, let's walk through what this looks like in practice using a weather agent. I know the weather here in San Francisco can be unpredictable in the fall, and I want to make sure that I'm fully prepared and have all of the right gear with me so that I don't get wet and I don't get a sunburn, which might not happen at this time of the year. To ensure that it does so correctly, we provide an intent resolution evaluator. So if I interact with my weather agent and I ask it about the weather, the intent resolution helps me understand whether or not the agent has resolved the intent correctly. Once the agent has figured out the intent, it then needs to call the right set of tools to provide a response. Here we provide several tool call evaluators and operational metrics to measure quality and success. Finally, as we get to step 3, we can use task adherence and other evaluators to measure whether or not the agent provided a high-quality response. Now, let's get into specific launches and demos. We're going to start off with the first phase of agent development. And to build reliable agents early. And we're going to kick things off with your core set of capabilities that enable you to get comprehensive visibility into agent behavior. So when I'm creating a new agent, I need to know that it's correct and safe. In the Foundry, we provide several new capabilities that enable you to measure the quality and safety of your agents before you take it to production. This includes custom evaluators that you can tailor to your use case, synthetic data set generation so you can get started with evals within minutes, human evaluations so that you or your team can evaluate your agent, and automated red teaming support so you can probe for safety and security risks. Now we're going to show these new capabilities in action. So to do this, I'm going to demo a Xava Outdoors catalog agent. So Xava Outdoors is launching a new Outdoors line. This is a support agent that answers questions about the product catalog. As you can see, I've attached an index that contains all of the products in our catalog. In order to test this agent, I'm going to use the evaluation metrics that are provided in the agent playground to see whether or not it's doing what it's supposed to do. In this case, I've selected task adherence and intent resolution to make sure that the agent is responding as intended and adhering to the task at hand. So I'm going to ask the agent, can you help recommend a jacket for San Francisco in the fall? And let's see what happens. So ideally, the agent should respond and give me a set of jackets that are appropriate for the current time of the year. And yes, it did that successfully. As you can see, there's an evaluation that just ran, and both intent resolution and task adherence passed. I can click into a debug window, and I can see the full agent execution. I can see the input and output. I can see the evaluation score along with a set of explanations for why the specific scores were picked. Again, these both passed, so 5 out of 5 for intent resolution, and task adherence passed as well. So now I have one data point that tells me how my agent is doing. But how do I know that my agent is performing well at scale? This is where our evaluation platform comes in. One thing that I can do is, if I want to run an evaluation at scale, is I can go into the evaluations page. I can create a new evaluation. I select the agent that I want to evaluate as a target. In this case, the 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀. I can either generate synthetic data based on the agent context. That's a great way to get started within minutes with evaluation. Or I can pick an existing data set. In this case, I'm going to pick an existing data set just in the interest of time so that you can see what that looks like. I get a preview that shows me all of the queries in my data set and the ground truth response in context. I can select a judge model for evaluation. I can select from pre-suggested evaluators. And finally, I can run the evaluation. In the interest of time, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to show you a completed run so you can see what that looks like. Here's an example. And I can see that in this case, everything passed, which is a good sign, and I can move forward and take my agent to production. All right, now we're going to hop back, and we're going to move on to the next stage, which is monitor and optimize production. And I'm excited to introduce Sam, my engineering counterpart, to take it away.
Thank you, Sebastian. Hello, everyone. Now that we've seen how to develop reliable agents early in the lifecycle, let's shift our focus to what happens once those agents are in production. This is where observability becomes absolutely critical, not just for uptime, but for continuous monitoring, improvement, and trust in your AI systems. Before I start, quick show of hands. How many folks have actually built an agent and your agent didn't exactly do what you expected? OK. So this is going to be very relevant and actually interesting to talk about. So in production, monitoring and optimization aren't one-time tasks. They're ongoing processes. While agents are non-deterministic by nature, we need to ensure their behavior can be continuously tamed as it can change over time, sometimes in unexpected ways, as you observed. To ensure quality, safety, and efficiency, we need robust tools to observe, evaluate, and optimize agents as they operate. Our new agent monitoring dashboard in the Foundry provides comprehensive insights across multiple dimensions, including continuous evals of production traffic, where we continuously take a subsample of queries and run your choice of evaluations on them to give insights into the performance of ongoing requests to your agents. Schedule evals allow for custom set scheduled runs for drift detection and monitoring. Red teaming to probe for vulnerabilities, adherence to policies, and to offer insights into level of protection against attacks. And finally, Azure Monitor-powered eval alerts flag operational issues with evaluation results tied to traces to simplify debugging. It's worth noting that as you develop more complex agents, one may leverage multi-agent schemes, and this can have detrimental impact on overall execution of the agent since errors can be compounded across multiple calls to subagents. Thus, it becomes critical to be able to debug and trace these agents and pinpoint low-scoring traces, obtain full visibility into the execution flow, of each agent and their respective evaluation scores. Our observability stack relies on data and telemetry from apps and agents, as well as the AI platform itself, where we host models to provide intelligent observation, insights, and control. In addition to tight integration with Azure Monitor, by being a core component of Foundry, you can now have a comprehensive monitoring solution spanning not just your agents and AI platform, but across your data services as well as Azure Infra. So let's talk about a demo here. We're going to build up on what Sebastian, my partner, introduced on 𝗲𝗲𝗸𝗀𝗻. And as you can see, what I'm showing you is our monitor tab, where you see all your operational metrics in one place. So as you can see, we can see evaluations, there's scheduled evaluation runs, and any other metrics that we want to dive into. Specifically, I have the ability to set up continuous evaluations, as I discussed, setting the subsample how many runs per hour I want to run. I can do scheduled evaluations based off of scheduled runs that runs at a specific time, as well as scheduled red teaming runs and evaluation alerts. Seems to be loading. In the evaluation alerts as well, we can set up thresholds as to when it is I want to be notified for my alerts. And this can be quite helpful and handy to be able to proactively see where the issue areas are and for me to jump into them. So as you can see here, we seem to have an issue on task adherence. Let's dive deeper here. So I can click on View Details, and I can see that there's something wrong with the task adherence for our evaluations. I can quickly click on the View Traces. That would take me to the Traces tab. Doesn't seem to be loading today. And through the traces, I'm able to eventually see what are the problem areas with regards to these alerts. So let's wait for that to load. And so here I can quickly see that my trace runs through time. I can sort them by evaluation metrics that we discussed and be able to deep dive into those components. You seem to be having a little bit of slowness. This is part of demo process. But inherently, looking at conversations, I can click on various conversations and be able to deep dive as to why something is having issues. And for interest of time, I will come back to this since this demo is not working. Let's go back. So to optimize your agents, we have built several useful utilities to dive deeper into your agents and obtain valuable insights. These include the ability to compare evaluations, perform cluster analysis to quickly pinpoint and group issues by their type and nature, as well as an agentic chat feature that allows you to ask an assortment of questions to Microsoft Foundry, get insights, and even control aspects of your project, such as curated model deployments and upgrades. Let's take a peek at some of these features together. So here we can see that I have my evaluations. So here I can quickly load my evaluations and be able to compare them. So in this case, I'm selecting 2, and I'm actually comparing these runs. I seem to be having connectivity issues again. So when I compare these runs, I'm able to do run-on-run comparison to see what were the key metrics that I'm falling short on. In specific, was it task adherence? What was the delta between those 2 runs? And be able to make progress through continuous iteration to improve on my agents. Going back to the issue that you all observed, how to tame the beast. So here we have various tools to do that. One of them is our cluster analysis tool, for example, that allows me to hone in on the various key areas. And this is a very useful tool because you have a lot of agent runs, you have a lot of different evals, and you want to be able to hone in on key problem areas. So in this case, we can cluster those areas and see that, hey, some of the issues were due to hallucinated responses. Hallucinations happen all the time. So here I can deep dive into unsupported fabricated issues and be able to look at the details of those and what happened. And what are the AI suggestions here? And the AI suggestion helps you to continuously improve upon your agent development process that gives you insights on what it is you need to modify to make your agent even adhere to your net end goal, whether it be accuracy, adherence to task relevance, or anything else. In specific, I can also have a conversation with the system. This is something we're really proud of, and it's quite exciting. I can click on our Ask AI and say, hey, give me a, let's go ahead and upgrade our main model from GPT 4.1 to something better. So this not only allows you to ask questions, get analysis on the fly, but also be able to control facets of Foundry through just conversation. For interest of time, I will show how that looks like. Essentially, you can see that it's taking me through the process to upgrade the current model. It's identified that the current model is indeed GPT 4.1. And in parallel, I can see that it's provided several options as to what my alternatives are. I can even go to the detailed model page and read about that model cart. But also in parallel, I can finally approve this and be able to, by one click, upgrade my model through a curated process. Awesome. Let's go back. So as a next step, I wanted to introduce one of our key partners, and Mr. Abhi. Please welcome Abhi. He's the Vice President of Data and AI Engineering at CarMax. Abhi is a proven leader with a track record of delivering transformative data and AI solutions, and driving innovation, is now focused on shaping the future of intelligent experiences and unlocking new possibilities through emerging AI.
Thank you, Sam. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm excited to be here and share CarMax's AI journey about innovation, partnership with Microsoft, and our responsible use of AI. Let's get into it. So when we think about AI at CarMax, AI isn't new to us. For over a decade, we've been using various AI techniques such as supervised learning, natural language processing, computer vision, and process automation to improve our customer experience and also make our core processes more efficient. By leveraging our data and AI, we have created a powerful advantage, one that truly sets us apart in our industry. But here's the thing. AI is changing so rapidly, and today we are in this era of generative and agentic AI that helps us redefine what is possible. Through Microsoft Foundry, we've experimented, we've learned, and we've taken 3 noteworthy use cases from prototype to production. They are search, which is a conversational search that you can use to find cars on CarMax. Second is knowledge management, which provides prompt, fast, and accurate responses to queries or information. And the third one is Sky, which is what we're going to talk about today. So what is Sky? Sky is our virtual assistant. Its purpose is to personalize and elevate the customer experience by empowering and engaging customers at the right moment, no matter where they are in their shopping journey with us. So with that goal, in 2020, we launched the first version, which was powered by natural language processing. And NLP did great at the time. It detected the customer's intent and used pre-programmed scripted flows to direct the customers. This approach had its clear advantages. It was predictable, controllable, and reliable. However, as we looked at customer expectations and how they were evolving, we noticed that our NLP-powered Sky was reaching its limitation. It felt more rigid, and it felt less intelligent to responding to customer questions. So with generative AI, we saw the opportunity to completely reimagine Sky, making it more smarter and responsive to our customer needs and setting us up for the future. But here's the thing. While we had worked and built expertise in generative AI, such a complex generative AI solution or an experience had never been deployed to our customer base until now. We partnered with Microsoft to redefine what used automotive retail can do for customer experience. And together, we are co-creating the most intelligent, scalable, and personalized AI-powered experience in our industry. We're truly reimagining how we can seamlessly guide both our customers and associates through every stage of their journey. So here's what the updated 2.0 Sky looks like. You will see in this, a customer is shopping for a car, and it's going to ask Sky, hey, can you help me find similar vehicles, but maybe at a different price point? And Sky does a great job of showcasing multiple different options to the end shopper or the customer. So let's talk a little bit more about the results, as you will see that they truly speak for themselves. And we looked at the results in two parts. On the experience side, we saw a 10-point improvement in the net positive feedback score, which is basically telling us that our customers are more satisfied or are getting a better experience through the new Sky. Second is on the efficiency side. We saw an increase of 25% in containment. Now, containment alone can be misleading, but when we look at that with experience or customer satisfaction, we feel more confident that customers are getting their questions answered through Sky without the need for escalation. And when there is a need for an escalation, Sky can seamlessly connect customers to our customer experience center for more hands-on support. So when you look at this, and as you think about how did we approach our deployment or scaling, and the answer is we approached it carefully, and the reason for that is trust. For us, every Sky interaction matters. Every response reflects our brand. We are a trusted brand, and it's no surprise that our approach to AI is guided by those core values of honesty, integrity, and transparency, which is why we saw a need for a comprehensive framework for responsible AI. And that's what led us to creating this evaluation framework for Sky 2.0, which we created using Microsoft Foundry and log analytics. And think about it, this has two parts to it. The first one is, what do we get out of the box from Microsoft Foundry? And second, we had to build our own custom evaluators to supplement our use cases and the need for how do we measure or evaluate our AI. So let's talk a little bit more what we are using and getting out of the box from Azure. So we think about them as three parts. The first is runtime guardrails. Second is evaluations such as safety and jailbreak. And then for AI-specific tracing. So when you're using AI, you want to know, what was the input prompt? What is the output prompt? What sort of tools were called from my LLM? For that AI-specific tracing, we are using a combination of OpenTelemetry as well as Azure Monitor. So with that, let's look at a demo of how we are using these tools.
To give an example of how we use Azure Monitor and log analytics, we're going to go back to the example we showed earlier. Hey, Sky, could you help me find cars similar to this one, but a little cheaper? And as you can see, Sky replies with this helpful car carousel and some text. Let's take a look at what that looks like in telemetry. So if we take a look here, all of this gen_AI telemetry traces are actually built in with OpenTelemetry into semantic kernel. And this is what we use for monitoring and also occasionally for evaluations. So you can see here, this is the user message. Hey, Sky, can you help me find cars similar to this one? If we go to the next message here, you can see the generative agent uses a tool call here. This is where it's searching for the vehicle. You can see it's actually looking for that specific vehicle that the user was talking about. So it can figure out the details on that and then get more information from there. This is the results of that tool call. If I click show more here, you see a massive JSON object of the entire result. And then once Sky does a couple more tool calls, as you can see here, it gets back to the response that we were just looking at. Here are some options. Now, moving on in the conversation, I say, so we gave me 3 options. What are the differences between 2 and 3? And you can see here, Sky gave me a very helpful bulleted list of the differences between each. The mileage is different, the color is different, things like that. And that looks very, very similar. So if we go back here, again, this is the user message. And then we get the assistant response. Now, in this case, it's a one-to-one message to response because in this case, Sky already had all the context it needed with the prior messages, the prior tool calls to make those comparisons. Before we had multiple tool calls. Here we just had the one.
Great. So let's talk a little bit more about what are we doing for customization. So we got a lot of good out-of-the-box capabilities. But for our use cases, we knew that we had to build some more custom LLMS judge evaluators to help us with a few other things that we wanted to measure and monitor, like legal adherence. So every conversation that Sky would have with our customers, we want to make sure it's in line with our legal guardrails. Same thing with intent detection. We want to make sure that Sky is truly understanding the intent of the conversation with the customer. And there are a few others that are listed over here. All of these evaluators we built using the ecosystem in Azure, such as machine learning pipelines, log analytics, Azure Monitor workbooks, and Azure DevOps. So let's look at a demo of how all of these come to life for us.
We utilize Azure AI Foundry and CI/CD in a couple of key ways. One of the main ways is running daily evaluations. So every single Sky response that a customer sees is emitted as log analytics telemetry. And once a day, we have a Python script that runs, that collects these, generates a data set, and then runs an evaluation against it in Foundry. So that's what this pipeline looks like here in Azure DevOps. As you can see, it runs every single day and has been running for a while now. We move over to AI Foundry. This is what it looks like there. These are all of the legal adherence runs within our evaluations blade here. And if we click into one of these, you can see all of this very useful metadata that comes involved with this. So we have the actual Sky version, we have the Git hash of the eval code that's being run against it, and we also have the dataset name and the evaluator type. Now for evaluators, we use AI Foundry to store those as well. There's a lot of built-in Microsoft ones, but we've also had to build a few of our own. And just to dive into the adherence evaluator for a second, we actually had specific guidelines, legal guidelines we wanted Sky to adhere to before putting it in front of a customer. So an example of that here, these are 3 example guidelines, 3 example Sky responses, and then what the LLM judge thought. So for example, did the assistant avoid applying that a car is safe? This is what the user sent to Sky. This is what Sky responded, and then the LLM judge had to decide if this response passes this guideline. And it did, and the reason the LLM judge gave was because the response does not imply that the car is safe, so it gives it the status of successful. The other way we utilize Azure AI Foundry and CI/CD is in the Sky deploy pipeline itself. So after we deploy to QA, we see here we have this blocking evaluation gate step. And so every time we deploy Sky, we run our full suite of evaluations up against it. And that step looks like this. Nice little Python table here with a visual indicator as to whether or not our scores are passing. Now, some of these scores fluctuate a little bit run to run, so that's why this is not an automated step. It's a human reviewer has to look at these scores. But to aid in that process, we also have all of these scores saved and these expected thresholds saved in a markdown file in GitHub just for easy access. And then at this point, a human can decide whether to approve or reject the Sky release.
Great. So let's talk a little bit more about what's next for us. So as we think about the future of AI at CarMax, we are going to build more agents. And as you have more agents, you need to improve orchestration of the agents. And this is all in line with how do we enable more agentic AI for us. We talked a lot about the new feature functions from Microsoft Foundry that are coming on observability. We are excited to explore that and see what we get out of the box and what do we need to build as custom evaluators. And lastly, I do anticipate that as our use cases expand, we will need to build more evaluators. This is in line with ensuring that we are still using our AI in a responsible way. So our journey from traditional AI to generative AI has fundamentally changed how we serve our customers. And the results speak for themselves. We are seeing better experiences, improved efficiency, and we now have a foundation for innovation. But truly what excites me is that we're just getting started. There's so much more for us to do. And with our robust sets of evaluation, I feel really confident that we're positioned to deliver even greater value in the years to come. And with that, I hope our CarMax journey has given you the insights and the confidence that you need to be successful in your AI journey. And with that, I would like to now call Sam and Sebastian back on the stage to wrap us up.
Thank you, Abhi.
Awesome. Thank you, Abhi. That was fantastic. It's great to see CarMax incorporate observability into every step of their development lifecycle. It's really, really fantastic how they've used custom evaluators and customized those to their use cases and scaled out their Sky experience. Now we're going to showcase how you can scale agent fleet management with observability and governance. Let's get into the final phase of the AI agent lifecycle. As more and more agents are deployed across your organization, it's absolutely critical for management and oversight to be centralized. Our newly announced Foundry Control plane is your destination to manage, observe, and govern your agent fleet. So if you go from 1 or 2 agents to hundreds of agents, that's the place where you can go and view all of your agents, see what they're doing, and govern them. From that perspective, we're excited to announce a bunch of new capabilities in the Foundry Control plane that are powered by observability, including our new agent fleet dashboard that shows key performance metrics and alerts, an assets inventory for all of your agents' models and tools, and a registration flow that enables you to register and observe any agent built using many of the most popular agent frameworks. So now I'm going to hand it off to Sam, and he's going to demo and show you what it looks like.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sebastian. Okay, folks, so let's talk about operation. So as we discussed, our Operate tab experience is quite holistic. It allows you to see your active alerts in one place. We can see for this is Java Outdoors project, for example, we have 83 agents. They're all operational. In one shot, I can quickly see my estimated cost and trends in specific. How am I trending week on week or month on month? And in specific, one of the awesome things that we're proud of to showcase is Microsoft Foundry is not just one place where you can see your agents, but you can also see non-Foundry agents here as well. So this is truly exciting. So I can actually go in and register an agent that was built, say, on Google Cloud, on Google Vertex, or on AWS Agent Core, or anywhere else, and actually register and bring it in here. And for me to have one holistic view that I can see my Operate tab and provide protection to all our agents. So here, I won't, for interest of time, walk through this, but you can basically bring in your agent URL, your endpoint URL, your hotel specifications, define it here, and set up your agents. And once it's set up, it'll basically look like this. You'll see in your assets view a set of agents, so I can actually go through various agents that have been brought in from outside, so in specific non-Foundry agents, and be able to see their traces, be able to deep dive, and eventually have some level of protection and support for them. So here we can see that there are several agents. If I even change the source to custom, we can see our agents have been developed and built on GCP. So mind you, connectivities are a little slow. And I will come back, by the way, the previous example that I was not able to show and show that. So these are agents that were built in GCP or AWS Vertex. And I can quickly go and click on one of them here, for example, and see the traces within that. This is the beauty of what we've built. These traces are actually coming from Google Vertex. And I can see that, for example, this one, there's all of this complexities being done. I can see what was input and output and sort of evaluation scores across them. So inherently, we've gone ahead and somebody's built an agent outside, and we're managing it within our operation tab herein, which is awesome.
So does that use the hotel
Correct.
semantics?
It used the open telemetry semantics to bring in those sort of traces and logs and have one place to view them all. That's
Awesome.
right. So I actually want to take a minute and go back and showcase our traces, which I was not able to show prior. So in this case, as you recall, here in the settings, I have ability to showcase continuous evaluations, scheduled evaluations. I can set up scheduled runs, whether it be run hourly or daily. I can do scheduled red teaming runs, same thing with a schedule, as well as set up my evaluation alerts. And so here we can go into specific set of traces that, due to connectivity, I was not able to show. And here I can quickly look at, say, a particular conversation for something that is not doing so well. So here we can see that for this one, the task adherence was inherently 0. Let's try to deep dive and see what's going on here. So when I look at these evaluations, we can see here, oh, it says the assistant claimed to have explored tent available and provided detailed product information. But this is a clear example of hallucination. How would it able to answer what jacket to suggest when it doesn't have the right tool call? It's hallucinating clearly. And so here we can learn from this and be able to inspect what was the input and output. It says, do you have an Explorer tent? It says, yes, we have an Explorer tent. It's listed Alpine Explorer, blah, blah, blah. But it didn't actually make a tool call. It's hallucinating. So you can actually leverage our utilities here to hone in on key issue areas within the operation of your agent to make better, more decisive decisions in that element. Okay, great. So we talked about operation. We talked about management of 3P agents. And now we'll go back.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was a really great demo and exciting to see it all come together in the Foundry Control plane. We have a bunch of related sessions that we encourage you guys to attend, specifically BRK190, which starts right after this session. That session is going to go even deeper into the Foundry Control plane, covering compliance, security, and a bunch of the governance features. We also have several related sessions and labs that incorporate many of the features that were shown today. We're excited for you to explore all of these. You can learn more from our documentation. Check out what's new in the Microsoft Foundry. And we're looking forward to your feedback as you try out the new capabilities. And with that, we'd like to thank you for attending the session, and we're looking forward to seeing you all at the Foundry Control Plane Observability booth. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And have a great Ignite.